Hey everyone, Merry Christmas. Hope you're all having an awesome holiday season. All right, let's dive into our first story titled, My ex who cheated on me with her trainer just reached out after a year of silence. Now her life is falling apart and she wants me back. I, 28 male, just had a weird situation pop up, and I honestly don't know how to process it. Maybe getting it off my chest will help. Names are fake, obviously. A little over a year ago, I was in a serious 3-year relationship with Megan, 27 female. Everything seemed great between us, at least from my perspective. We were talking about moving in together and even had casual talks about marriage someday. Around that time, I started getting into fitness and introduced Megan to my personal trainer, Jake, 30 male. Jake was a super charismatic guy, and he and Megan hit it off, but I didn't think much of it. Just assumed they had a good trainer-client relationship. After a few months of them working together, Megan started acting more distant. She'd be busy after her workouts, not come home until late, and her phone would suddenly always be on Do Not Disturb. I'd ask her about it, but she'd blow me off, saying I was being paranoid. Well, turns out I wasn't paranoid. One night, Megan left her phone on the counter while she was showering, and it lit up with texts from Jake. Let's just say they weren't talking about meal plans or workout routines. I confronted her immediately, and she broke down, admitting she'd been cheating with him for months. She told me she fell in love with Jake and that it wasn't about me. It was just something she couldn't help. She packed her things and moved in with him within a week. That was the worst time of my life. It felt like my entire world had been ripped apart. I blocked her on everything and focused on picking up the pieces of my life. Therapy, gym, hanging with friends. I slowly started to move on, even though it left a deep scar. She said she realizes what she had with me was real and that she wants to make things right. She claimed she's willing to do anything to prove she's changed and asked if we could meet up to talk. Here's the thing. Part of me still has some feelings for her, but another part of me is screaming to block her again and never look back. I don't know if I can ever trust her after what she did, but hearing her sound so broken on the phone stirred something up in me. Maybe it's pity, maybe it's nostalgia, or maybe I'm just an idiot. So here I am, trying to figure out if I should hear her out or tell her to stay in the past where she belongs. What would you guys do? And they always come back when things don't work out with their Prince Charming. And now to the update. I wasn't planning on doing an update, but after meeting up with my ex, I feel like I need to get this off my chest. If you didn't read my first post, the quick version is, my ex Megan cheated on me a year ago with her trainer Jake and left me for him. Now she's back, saying things went south with him and she wants to get back together. So we met up yesterday for coffee. I went in not really knowing what to expect. Part of me wanted closure, part of me was still curious about what she had to say. We talked for a good couple of hours and it was a lot to process. Megan started by apologizing. She admitted that leaving me for Jake was the biggest mistake of her life, and she's been paying for it ever since. Without getting into too many details, things between them weren't as perfect as she thought they'd be, and the whole relationship basically crashed and burned. She's been struggling ever since. Mentally, emotionally, financially, it's been a rough year for her. But here's the part that I wasn't really prepared for. She also brought up a lot of things about our relationship that I never considered. She said that while cheating on me was 100% wrong, she felt like I wasn't the best boyfriend either. According to her, I didn't always make her feel appreciated, and she resented me for that. She mentioned that I was emotionally distant at times, more focused on my work or hobbies, and she felt like she wasn't a priority. She didn't use it as an excuse, but she said that built-up resentment contributed to her being tempted by someone who made her feel wanted. Hearing that hit hard. I didn't see myself that way, but looking back, I can see where I might have dropped the ball. I thought I was being a good partner, but maybe I was blind to some of her needs. She said she spent a lot of time reflecting and realizes she should have talked to me about her feelings instead of stepping out. After we finished talking, she asked if we could try again. She claims she's learned from her mistakes and wants to rebuild what we had. She told me she's willing to take things slow and prove she's different now, but I'm torn. On one hand, I've done a lot of healing in the past year, and I don't know if I can or should go back. On the other hand, I can't lie. Hearing her admit her mistakes and explain her side of things made me feel something. Maybe it's closure. Maybe it's sympathy. Maybe it's old feelings creeping back. I honestly don't know. Now I'm just confused. Part of me wants to move on and never look back, but another part of me is questioning whether we both made mistakes that could be fixed now that we've grown. I can't tell if she's just trying to ease her guilt, or if there's a real chance at something better. What would you guys do? Is there any point in trying to rebuild, Or is it better to leave the past where it belongs? Dude, why are you even thinking about getting back with her? And now, let's move on to the second update. Hey everyone, I wanted to give you all a final update because things have taken a turn that I didn't expect. After my last post where I told you about Megan reaching out and us having that long conversation, I spent a lot of time thinking about everything. I took a few days to reflect and really tried to figure out what I wanted, what was best for me. Megan continued texting me, trying to keep the conversation going, and she seemed sincere. I could tell she was struggling, and part of me felt bad for her. But every time I thought about giving her another chance, I couldn't shake the memory of how shattered I was when I found out she cheated. That trust was broken, and even though she apologized, I realized that trust might never fully come back. I was leaning towards moving on, but what really sealed it for me was something I didn't expect at all. Just a couple of days ago, I got a message from a mutual friend of Megan's and mine. Apparently, Megan had a bit of a breakdown after our meetup. She went back to Jake trying to make things work with him again, but it turns out Jake had been cheating on her the whole time, pretty much from the moment they got together. The situation escalated, and from what I've heard, it ended with a pretty bad confrontation between Megan and Jake, leading to some serious legal trouble for both of them. Without going into too much detail, Megan's life has basically imploded. She lost her job, she's facing legal issues, and her mental health is in a really dark place right now. I won't lie, hearing all of that was a gut punch. It's hard to hear about someone you once loved going through so much pain, but at the same time, it felt like the universe was sending me a message. I realized that Megan wasn't coming back to me because she loved me or truly wanted to fix things. She was desperate and didn't know where else to turn. I would have been her safety net, not her true choice. So I made my decision. I've cut off all contact with her. I wished her well, but I told her that we both need to move on. It's the best thing for both of us. As for me, I've been doing great. Since Megan and I broke up, I've been focusing on myself, my career, and building new connections. I'm in a good place now, mentally and emotionally, and I've recently started using the dating apps. Not the greatest, but much better than what was. For the first time in a long time, I feel truly like I can be happy again. If there's one thing I've learned from all of this, it's that sometimes the past is best left in the past. People can grow and change, but that doesn't always mean they're meant to be part of your future. Thanks to everyone who gave me advice and support throughout this. It's been a wild ride, but I'm finally at peace. Stay strong, everyone. You deserve better than settling for someone who didn't see your worth the first time around. Funny, she was thinking gym trainer will be loyal to her. Trainers who bang their clients are oftentimes banging multiple others. Thankfully, she is not your problem. Now time to move on. And now to the second story titled, It Was a Lie from Day One. Looking for advice from people who were in a situation similar to mine, where they eventually understood that there were no feelings from the other side to begin with. I'm a 37-year-old male today, didn't date anyone up until the age of 23, mostly focused on studies and career. My self-esteem was also very low for multiple reasons, including anxiety, bullying, smallest/youngest in the class, etc. At the age of 23, I moved to a different city to start a career in a very prestigious company. At some point, I met a young woman, female 22, who I started dating. She was my first girlfriend, the first person I kissed, had sex with, etc. When I was 25, we got married and had a child. Sometime after our son was born, she revealed that the real reason she married me and gave birth to our child was taking revenge on the friend with benefits who didn't want to date her seriously. So she found a guy who was amazing on paper, me, as a revenge. Even our son got the same name as that guy. My son and I were basically NPCs in the game of two other persons. The friend with benefits was the literal opposite of me at the time, a violent bouncer who allegedly killed a person as opposed to a tech career guy. One issue that we always had during the relationship/marriage was sex and intimacy in general. I was way too vanilla and anxious for her, and she eventually became very open about how disgusting and not masculine my actions are. I was very criticized, and it made me even more anxious, which made me even more criticized. This was about how I held hands, how I kissed, and sex, of course. It started involving physical violence towards me at some point. She also opened up about the real number of her sexual partners. What she told earlier was a lie, sexual preferences she has, and I realized I would never meet her expectations. I was openly compared to other men, you get the idea. This made me avoid having intimacy and sex with her altogether. She was the only person I was with by that time. She was quite open about how it's unreasonable to expect anyone to be attracted to a person like me. how a woman deserves a real man, etc. There were discussions about how I am the worst lover she's ever been with. And I was blamed for all that, as in her book, someone with no experience by 23 should have got that experience earlier and not bring these issues into family life. In other words, at some point I realized that there was no love from her side to begin with. There were no feelings, nothing from day one, and what I was told from day one up to wedding day and later was all big bullcrap. And the fact that I got played like that is at least partially my fault due to lack of age-appropriate experience by the moment our relationship started. When I was 32, she was 31. I caught her cheating and divorced her. It's been 5 years ago. On paper, we have 50-50 custody of our 11-years-old son, but de facto, he spends the majority of his time with me. It's worth mentioning that during all these years, I was quite successful in my career. I am making solid money, have a cool-sounding title at a prestigious company, recognized in the industry, and make the world a better place. After divorce, I built a new body in my amazing home gym, built a great day-to-day life for me and my son, no family help or paid help, progressed my career even further, wrote and published a book. Had one girlfriend with whom I had the best sex of my life. It felt amazing for both of us. I broke up with her for multiple reasons, but one of them was that I didn't trust her real intentions. As a financially well-off person, I questioned her real motives and didn't trust what she said, despite her being very much into me. Also was really afraid that she would flip if we'd start living together and reveal her true self. It's been 2 years since I was dating anyone. I'm 37. On paper, I have qualities that may make me attractive to women. I am 6'2", have a successful career, published book author, live in a $1.7 million house, six-pack but relaxed on diet. Objectively great father, very handy, cook, and make great cocktails. I'm often told I look younger with a full head of hair, etc. I have seen some women expressing interest in dating me. Some other women tried to set me up with their friends or coworkers. But every time this happens, I either question their real intent or find something I should improve before I would consider myself dateable. Some of these improvement projects are relatively lengthy. I had a septoplasty this year to remove snoring, undergo treatments to remove acne scars from teenage years, etc. Also find a way to show myself how no self-respecting woman would date a single dad, hence dating is off the table till child is off to college. But if I am completely honest with myself, it's also a way to avoid emotional pain. I tried to work with a therapist. The cornerstone of his advice was that I need to try dating other women, but again, I easily find things I need to improve in myself or my environment before I would be dateable, and don't want to hurt any women with my issues. Date casually, enjoy your life. Don't get yourself into another mess and financial ruin. And that's it for today, folks. Hope you have an amazing time with your loved ones. And don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.